All right, Austin Kemp, we are here doing a show for the Clovis Sports Report. We're going to be doing a baseball preview. We are towards the end of basketball in Clovis Unified and throughout the valley, but we're going to focus this show on baseball. You've written some incredible baseball previews, so go to Clovis Sports Report, check those out. I'm Paul Meadors, and I'm going to just be the facilitator here, Austin, because you are like the baseball expert right now. You've done a great job. You've broken down all 5 of the Clovis Unified teams. Full breakdown with players to watch, the big games. So it's going to be our baseball show, our first baseball show. Looking forward to doing a lot of these throughout the year. We're toying around with the idea of some podcasts as well.
It'd be nice to do a podcast if you guys would be interested. Maybe let us know if you'd listen. I'd be up for doing one like maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in that, just kind of reach out to us, and if we get enough responses, maybe we'll put one together.
Yeah, that'd be great. We got a couple ideas for show names because during football we had the RPO show.
Yeah.
It worked out really well. We like that idea. Some of the names that we have so far for a baseball show, we have the 5-tool show. Okay, Riding Pine, Touch 'Em All. Couple that we really like here. Launch Angle
Show.
The Launch Angle Show, that's a big thing now in baseball. And Chin Music.
Yeah, I think Launch Angle and Chin Music, those are my 2 favorite. Maybe we'll put up a poll.
Yeah.
See what you guys like, but I think those 2 are the early front runners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Okay, so we'll decide on one, and before the next show,
Yeah.
we'll have an official title for the show. But we want to thank First String Sports. First of all, they made this great banner here. We got the Letterman's jackets here on the side. Got this great backdrop here. So thanks First String Sports for helping sponsor us. Also want to thank Dan Barrow's Physical Therapy and the Fieldhouse Restaurant for sponsoring the Clovis Sports Report. So let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. The Coca-Cola Classic is the first tournament that a lot of these schools are involved in. There was a game with Clovis East last Thursday, right? Clovis East drove down to Selman?
That was on Saturday.
That was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, so Clovis East came away with an 8-0 win. We're going to be definitely talking about them, but yeah, let's just go from the top. We have
Let's run down our rankings.
Do it.
First. Yeah.
Let's talk about the rankings.
We released like a preseason poll, top 10. We went with Clovis as 1, 2 Clovis West, 3 Memorial, 4 Clovis North, 5 Stockdale from Bakersfield, 6 Buchanan, 7 Liberty of Bakersfield, 8 was Rigetti from the coast, 9 Clovis East, and 10 Central. And then 17 teams in D1, so the remaining 7 we kind of just had as our on the bubble teams.
Yeah, on the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You guys notice that? He had that memorized.
I had
Off
it
the top of his head, I think most of this information that we're going to present to you is going to be from memory, which is very impressive.
I'm just I've been working on all these previews since mid-December, so all this stuff I have seen 100 times on my computer, so it's kind of just ingrained in my memory right now.
So let's talk about the defending champs. So there's a few changes that have gone over at Clovis High, but a few things are remaining the same, right? So James Patrick, the winningest coach in Central Section history, retired.
Yeah.
How many total years? 30?
Oh gosh. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna act like I do.
I know.
It's
so
in the 30s.
In the 30s.
Yeah.
Multiple Valley championships, track championships. So his son, Chris, has slid into the head coaching position over there at Clovis. And, they had a wonderful run last year as a 6th seed. Blew through everybody. Ended up, was it Frontier they demolished in the championship game, right? So just what a wonderful way for Coach Patrick to go out. So, break down Clovis High. They lost a couple really good, intricate part of the teams, including their catcher, Corey Miller's son.
Yeah, Darian
Miller, 9th round, I believe, is drafted and signed. So, they're missing a good chunk of their players, but, they always seem to, return a solid group.
I've always just been told just growing up, my dad being a baseball coach for all these years, you're only as good as your seniors. And Clovis High has a ton of them this year. Guys who played key roles on their team last year. So you have Noah Beal, who pitches and plays first. He's signed with UNLV. Kobe Croft, who's another stud hitter, who will be the catcher after playing outfield last year. He's always been a catcher his life, though. So he just didn't happen to beat out Darian last year.
Yeah.
So you have Beal and Croft. And then Miles Henderson at shortstop, a guy who can play everywhere on the infield. He played third last year. He played second. And they struggled when he was injured for about 10 games last year. He comes back, and they only lost one game after he came back. So Beal, Henderson, Croft, and then they had Ian Mortensen, who is their center fielder. He'll be their number 2 pitcher. And those 4 guys, again, those 4 guys are all everyday players, and they're seniors this year. And then another senior you can add in is Jalen White on the infield, and then Ryan Tiger in the probably right field.
Okay.
So you just look at those guys; those are 6 valuable seniors who all have experience, and that's not even really mentioning Braden Nicholson, who was Clovis High's only underclassman to get playing time last year as a sophomore. He'll be playing third as a junior. So you look at this lineup; I feel like that's an easy, that's an easy preseason number 1. They won it all last year.
Yeah.
Returned 7 guys who received significant playing time.
Let's go back a little bit to like how did they win last year? Right? Is there just a certain mentality that they have over at Clovis High, or how did they end up doing it?
I mean, it's a very good culture, and when you have that culture, everyone's bought in, and once you get hot at the right time, you can make a run. I talked with Noah Beal when I went up to Clovis High about a week ago, and like he started to kind of click as the season progressed. They had a little lefty, Zach Jimenez, who clicked as the season kind of kept going. So I think when that culture is strong at your program, you pretty much have a chance to win it all any year that you get in the playoffs.
Sure.
And then you add to the fact that it was James's last year. I think I don't know. I viewed it as, on the outside looking in last year. I kind of just viewed it as like the perfect storm happening, and it kind of was.
Yeah. You talk about Noah Beal is probably their headline player, right?
Yeah.
Pitcher. What's his repertoire look like on the mound?
He's big. He's physical. He's I think put on even more muscle this off season. I don't know his exact height and weight, but he's probably like 6'3", 225 pounds.
That'll work.
No, that'll work. And he throws hard. I think his biggest thing is probably not overthrowing. I think there were times last year he was overthrowing and he walked some people, but like I said, he got hot at the end of the year. He hit Clovis West in the final week of the regular season. And then he's a pitcher, but he actually hit about 380 from the left side last year. And I've heard UNLV will let him hit in college, so I wrote it in the article. I think Beal and Croft are the best 1-2 punch hitting wise interception. Yeah.
And Chris Patrick, you talk about culture, right? And so he obviously, was a superstar there as well, and played at Fresno State, played some pro baseball as well. So it was probably a super easy transition for Coach Patrick. Like he was an assistant there for 2 years, and then sliding into the head coaching spot, right?
And he understands the culture. He understands how it's supposed to be at Clovis High. I don't think the culture is going to change, but when you replace in any sport, whether it's NFL or college football or baseball, when you replace a coach who is like the greatest of all time at that school or even like in the state, I don't want to say you can go anywhere but down, but it's really hard to maintain that level just because he is the greatest. So I mean, Chris understands. He knows he has his work cut out for him.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't see that culture really changing at all at Clovis High.
Good. And we're going to get into the games this week, right? Who's going to play who? But there's a couple very intriguing matchups this week, including Clovis High. They got one. Is it tomorrow or Thursday?
Against Bullard. That'll be tomorrow or today if you're listening to this on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today's Monday night. All right. Good breakdown of Clovis High defending track champions.
Valley champions.
Valley champions. So who won track last year? Buchanan
won track.
13-2.
13-2.
And Clovis, what were they, about 10-5 in the league? Maybe even 9-6.
From the top of my head, I probably around 9-6.
Yeah.
So I think there might have been a 3-way tie for third.
Okay.
Or a 2-way tie. So I think it was about 9-6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very impressive. And we've moved to Clovis West. Clovis West. They returned two of the top pitchers. We're not only in the Valley, but I think you mentioned the article, but in the state. I mean, that's a whopper of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Here, a couple kids that are signed to go to Fresno State. So talk about Clovis West and what they bring to the table.
So Clovis West is, I've said it multiple times in these articles I've been writing. I think they have the best starting pitching in the section, and I think Coach Patrick would put it up against anybody in the state. You have right-hand pitcher Noah Galvan. He will be the ace. He's proven at a sub-2 ERA last year, signed with Fresno State. He's a guy, he can run it up high 80s with a good curveball, and he's confident throwing his curveball for a strike. I know the pitching coach, Seth Miranda, does a great job with his pitchers over there. And then
shout out to Seth.
Shout out to Seth. You know, I had to throw that in there. And then left-handed pitcher Eshawn Henderson, who he is the most intriguing pitcher in this area. He's a lefty, super athletic. He grew up playing football and basketball. He can play all the sports, but he's a guy that can run it up there to 90 miles an hour on a consistent basis. But his biggest thing was this kind of throwing strikes consistently last year. There was times where, for example, we played him last year, and he goes 4 innings and strikes out like 9 guys.
Yeah.
But he was also at the pitch limit in 4 innings. His walk count was higher than he wanted, but he's a guy that when he's a junior in college, he might be throwing 95 miles an hour from the left side. Yeah. If he can kind of just lock that in this year, no one's going to hit him. Yeah. And then you got Art Navarrete, who will kind of be their closer this year, another righty, and then Eric Budd, and another righty who pitched about 30 innings last year and again had a sub-3 ERA and can throw all its off speed for strikes. So it's definitely a team led by pitching.
Yeah. And they got to replace Carson Seamus at shortstop, who was drafted by the Boston Red Sox. Got a few new position players out there as well, right? Bradley sent away.
So they have a lot of guys who were on the roster last year. They're all kind of playing different spots. Yeah. So like we talked about Senaway, he was a first team All League third baseman last year. He's playing short. Sophomore Nick Beza will play third. As a freshman, he got in like 13 games as a freshman. Another sophomore, Jacob Harrows, will be playing second base. But he's a guy that did start about every single varsity game last year between second and shortstop. Okay. And then first base will probably be Navarrete when he's not pitching. But again, he's not super experienced at first.
Yeah. How about outfield? What's outfield look like?
And the outfield, Eshawn Henderson will play center when he's not pitching. They have Chauncey Turney in right, who's a senior, had some experience last year, and then Tanner Ewell is looking like to be the left fielder, get his bat in there.
Okay. Yeah. And with Clovis West, you know, they were in the Valley Championship game 2 years ago. They ran into a really hot Stockdale team and a really hot pitchers at UCLA, right? But yeah, I think with 2 top of the line starters that could run it up to 90 miles an hour. Yeah. You know, league. You know, I think, you know, all these call them pre-league games, I suppose, you know, probably keep their innings down a little bit, right? And then once track hits, you know, it's all hands on deck for that. And then playoffs, you can definitely roll with 2 guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, they have the pitching depth to be able to limit these innings early on. I know they have this tournament is a little bit taxing, but I mean, you're not going through a gauntlet every single game of this tournament. There are some games where you can get by throwing some of your 5 or 6 guys, like close teams have always done. But once they get to the track, they only need 3 guys, maybe 4. Yeah. And if everyone stays healthy, they'll be set. Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Patrick coaching fraternity. I'm sure if you guys are watching this and listening, that you obviously know about the Patricks, but Kevin, Chris's brother, and James's other son is at the helm at Clovis West. He's been there a long time too. He might be. Just looking at his list. He is. I think it's the most tenured coach.
Yeah, I think it's for sure like 2008.
Yeah.
So it's been 12 years.
Yeah,
13,
at least.
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
All right, so Clovis West, definitely a team to watch for. It's gonna be fun. You know, when we see either one of those 2 guys throws. And you said Eshawn's a lefty, right? Yep. And
everyone else are righties.
Are righties. Okay. Yeah. All right. And moving on to Clovis North, head coach Jeff Prieto over there, and they got some arms too. And you know, the headliner probably in the track is Riley Cooper, big lefty. He transferred over from Kingsburg after his freshman year. 3-year starter. Obviously, this coming year will be his 3rd all-track player. A gamer, signed with the University of Arizona. I don't know. This is just me talking. I haven't read that much, but I think he could be drafted this year. I think obviously You know, when you got a lefty that could run it up there that throws 90 and got great off-speed pitches and is very mature, you know, as far as his presence on the mound and all that. So I think Cooper's definitely going to be, you know, again, one of those guys when you see him out there on the mound, you know, you're going to be, you're in for a long haul in that game. But yeah, Clovis North, what's your take on them this year?
I'm just like what Paul was saying. Like, we'll start with Cooper just because he's the headliner, and he's the guy when you're in the other dugout. From experience, you don't want to see him on the mound.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of say these numbers from last year. He went 72 innings pitched, 1.16 ERA, 95 Ks to 13 walks. He's one of the biggest like competitors that I have seen. When he's on the mound, he owns it. And it's another pitching staff as a whole who. I think that it's a very thin line between Clovis West and Clovis North because after Cooper you have Ryan O'Hara, who's a senior, who's kind of blown up this offseason. He got some playing time last year kind of as the year went on, but he's another guy who's throwing upper 80s right now, and he's getting some looks from some big West teams, maybe some Mountain West teams, so he'll end up going somewhere playing college baseball. And then there's another lefty, Caden Larson.
Okay.
He's a junior. Again, got playing time as a sophomore, did fairly well. And then Buchanan transfer Luke Sula, who is a righty, is kind of expected to come out of the pen and maybe fill the closing role this year.
Okay.
So, yeah, another, like four guys.
Yeah, 4 guys that could run out there. Going back to Cooper a little bit. So I remember his sophomore year, right? So you get a kid that transfers, and his brother, who's at Fresno Pacific, is a really good shortstop, doing really well over there. But, you know, they transferred from Kingsburg. And, you know, here's this guy that's getting lots of pub already. And I went and watched him pitch, and he did not care. And what I mean by that is that he was not intimidated at all by the track hitters. I mean, this is, you know, back when he was a sophomore, so you had Buchanan, had all those studs, right? And I remember watching him pitch, and he didn't back down. It was very impressive for somebody so young. He might have been 16 already, but, you know, 15 or 16 years old to be in the spotlight and to step up to the mound and have that presence and that you know, gamesmanship was very impressive. He's carried that over.
And it's like my first time I ever coached against him was when he was a sophomore. I was coaching first base at Buchanan, and I remember him just like, he started against us at Buchanan, and he would come off the mound between every innings. That game he dominated us, and he would come out just kind of running his mouth, which I mean I don't have a problem with. Yeah. If you're gonna be competitive like that, I think that's a fair game. And again, it just plays to Paul's point where the moment was never too big for him. And I mean, as a senior this year, it's just gonna be more of a problem for other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they got a couple slick fielding infielders, don't they, as well?
Yeah. So they have Kason Brunell at second base, who just signed with the Masters University. He's one of the most athletic infielders you'll see in our area. Gets after it in practice. Yeah. They have kind of a shortstop battle right now between Freddie Flores, who's a senior, and sophomore Isaiah Munoz. Munoz actually came from Memorial, so he has to sit to start the year. He's actually committed to St. Mary's, but coaches have liked what they've seen out of Flores so far. And third base is kind of shaping up to be a junior named Reese Kent, who's, again, I talked to Coach Prieto, and he's getting Pac-12 and Big West looks as a junior right now. So a lot of potential with the infielders at Clovis North this year.
Yeah. And outfield?
And then outfield, there's some. So I have Ryan O'Hara, we mentioned, as a pitcher. He can fly. He'll probably be a factor in the outfield along with Ryan Vance. And then we have to mention Nolan Inouye will be the left fielder. He was first team All-Track last year, hit 381.
Good player.
Real steady, up the middle swing, has some power. So again, Clovis North, their biggest thing is just going to be scoring runs. Yeah. I think they're athletic, and they're more athletic than they were last year on offense, so it should lead to more runs. But that's kind of their thing. They always had the pitching. I think the bats will maybe start to catch up a little bit this year.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of been their MO a little bit the last few years, right? I mean, their pitching has always kept themselves in games, but yeah, the bats have gone quiet in key moments. So yeah, so definitely something to keep our eye on. Clovis North, there we go. And then Buchanan, you know a couple things about Buchanan this year, right? So we know about where you want to start. All right, so we know about, last year. Was there really 7 D1 players on the roster last year? Or what do you say, 7, 6 or 7?
If you're looking at it right now, I think there was 5.
5, okay.
Right.
So, they graduated, a phenomenal group of players. And then when you do that, you need other guys to step into those spots. We got a young team over there at Buchanan this year. We got a lot of sophomores. So I remember hearing about, this Buchanan class that graduated last year. I remember watching them and hearing about them, obviously, as sophomores. Now there's a new group of sophomores. So what do you see about this young Buchanan baseball team?
So we'll start with the sophomores. There's going to be games this year where Buchanan trots out 5 sophomores in their starting lineup, and that's the reality this year because there's only four seniors who play baseball. So when that's the case, you're going to have to rely on your younger classes.
Yeah.
We'll start on the infield. They have some players like Evan Wallace, who's a second baseman, third baseman type. Jet Ruby, who's a middle infielder. Drew Smith, a corner guy with Colby Evans and Max Bernal. All those guys kind of bringing their own unique type of skills to the game. I think that Evan Wallace, he's a sophomore. You'll see him in the lineup every single game. He has Valley Player of the Year potential as he gets older.
Okay.
Total gamer.
Yeah.
And then in the outfield, sticking with the sophomores, there's a kid named Corbin Ybarra. Big arm, big frame. He's another guy. He'll probably play college baseball one day, but he doesn't have the experience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme. Like, these guys, I don't know, they might take their lumps early.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sophomores, but a lot of these kids are going to play college baseball one day, so you're not dealing with kids who don't have a clue.
Sure.
You're dealing with talented kids that just need to get their feet wet early on.
Yeah.
And then also in the outfield, they're not sophomores, but there's some juniors between Josh Williams, son of a big leaguer, Sky Collins, who super athletic, and then
And he's a sophomore, right?
junior.
Sky Collins Jr.
Sky Collins Jr. And then Hayden Peterson, who you're familiar from football season, is another outfielder who will be fighting for time. So they're athletic. I love what they look like in the outfield.
Yeah.
Super athletic, but again, just super experienced.
Good. I like what you said about how, this group has stayed together, obviously, but how they have a kind of a common goal, right? They know they're good, and yet they get after it.
Yeah,
they
for
work
sure.
hard.
And they're still learning that. They're still
Sure.
learning that whole Buchanan way. I know Coach Fonts and Coach Kemp and Coach Marsubian and whoever else is out there, they're going to teach those guys the Buchanan way because if they don't do it their way, they won't play.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it with my own eyes, and they're going to have to buy in, or else they'll be sitting on the bench.
Sure.
So Buchanan's a team who you do not want to, like, if you're going to play them, you'd rather play them right now than you would in May, because I think they're going to be the team that probably makes the most growth throughout the year. And then before we move on, we got to mention Timo Becerra, shortstop, returning from last year, played third last year, playing shortstop this year. Austin Young returning behind the plate, and then
and Timo is committed to Stanford as a junior, right?
As a junior, yeah,
Heavily committed. Okay.
and then Austin Young, another junior, and then the big righty on the mound,
There you
Isaac
go.
Aon,
We were
who
going to miss him.
signed with Oregon, looking real good. He's a young senior too, so he's only 17, so his body's still still maturing, and he can run it up there to 92, 93 when he's on.
Yeah, so good. I'm glad you pointed that out. So obviously we talked about Riley Cooper. We're very impressed with him, and he's going to do great things. But
Yeah.
that kid. You said that there were some scouts, right, in a scrimmage checking
Yeah,
him out.
so,
So
yeah.
it's got some publicity.
I checked out their
Well,
scrimmage against Memorial 2 weeks ago. Ton of scouts behind the home plate, all with radar guns. They had him at like 92 to 93. So, he's another guy who, they're young, but when Aon's on the mound, are you going to score runs off him?
Sure.
I don't know.
Why not? Probably
So.
not. All right, good. And last, but it's certainly not least, because Austin's been out to every practice and did a lot of video interviews as well, and talked to all the head coaches over there. But there's Clovis East. They went 11-17 last year. But what you saw out there, you really, really liked. So what did you like out there when you visited them?
I like, so I don't want bias to come off right here because it's just the truth. So Ryan Smith, the head coach at Clovis East, is a kid who went through the whole Buchanan thing in high school, and he's trying to build kind of that type of culture and that kind of structure and effort in their practices. And I think it's starting to turn that way. I went out there, they have a lot of experienced guys from a season ago who, like Paul said, didn't have the year they wanted to. But again, Ryan Smith talked about like being the standard, set the standard, all these things. So they're doing things the right way.
Yeah.
They return a lot of guys on the mound like Tyler Parker, Giovanni Helmuth, two guys who are committed to FPU. They have another pitcher, Elijah Acosta, coming out in the bullpen. Nick Frey, a lot of arms who I think these games against Clovis East are going to be fairly close. I don't think they're going to get just waxed maybe like they did last year.
Yeah. I don't see too many 15-2 losses.
No, and they play defense. They have guys like Elias Mart at shortstop, Hodgerney in the outfield, guys who are athletic that can go make plays when they need to. You couple that in with that culture and structure that they are implementing, it usually leads to some success.
Yeah.
And I don't think Clovis East has the baseball talent of these other schools in the track, but you can make up for it. You can make up for it with coaching and how you get after it every single day because it translates on game day.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Tyler Parker, who's a returning all-track pitcher. Mentioned Helmuth is a pitcher. Who else do they got?
So I said Elijah Acosta.
Okay.
He's a guy that has a real loose arm as a righty, and I like what I saw from him last year. And then another pitcher, you have like Nick Frey and Blake Bolton, who will all, and Thomas. I'm gonna say Thomas Canales. I could get corrected though. But yeah, they have 5 or 6 pitchers who can all they know what they're doing, and they're not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So there is a. You can't use the word quick because that was about 20 minutes long. That was an awesome breakdown, Austin Kemp, about a quick overview of each team. I think in talking with you and reading your great articles and all that stuff, it seems like from top to bottom, it's really, really healthy. Like we can literally see any one of these, let's say the top 4.
Right.
Like you said, we don't want to, not respect Clovis East because they're going to be in every game. But we would not be surprised with any of those 4 winning track, right?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. And like I've talked to my friends about this, that throughout like winter break or other coaches. I think this is the best pitching year in the track since like 2011 because every single team has a guy who will beat you, and every single team has a guy who's a college baseball pitcher in the future. And even Central with Ryan Wiltsey, he I don't know, his velo is not great, but he hit Buchanan last year, and so he returns, and you never know, he gets hot one night, he might be able to beat someone. So it's a very healthy year pitching wise.
Excellent. So moving on from that, we got games this week. We mentioned Clovis East win over Selma, but we got some Coca-Cola Classic games. So what are you looking forward to this week? Break a couple of things down already.
So I said the 2 headliners tomorrow are probably Bullard at Clovis in the afternoon at 3 p.m. and then Memorial versus Clovis West at 6 p.m. That's our number 3 versus number 2 matchup. Memorial's moving to D1 this year, and they're as good as all these Clovis schools. So really excited to see Memorial. And then on Thursday we actually have Buchanan at Bullard.
Why is that interesting?
That's very interesting because Tom Donald will be in the Bullard dugout. He will have that team fired up as can be. And that's I don't know. I think I'm going into that one. That's gonna be a playoff atmosphere on Thursday at Bullard. I don't know. I know Coach Donald pretty well, and he does not want to lose that game. So I'm really excited to see that one.
Okay. All right, and then this is about a two week tournament. So all the games you're gonna be playing are part of this Coca-Cola Classic, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, and there will be hopefully a championship game, right?
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting at the end. It's kind of like a little round robin deal, and they'll take the top 2 teams and something like that, and they'll play each other. Okay. So, hey, not bad for a little baseball preview.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. I think if you tune into this and if you watch it all the way through, you're going to have a great layout of what to look for. Some of the players to watch here. So,
and I always say just don't forget, if you want to go check a team out, go to clovisportsreport.com. We have all of the team previews up there in the baseball section. Go find the team you want to go check out, and we have their key non-league games listed as part of their preview. So you can go see the date, who they're playing, and we have a little bullet point why it would be of interest. So and follow us on Twitter. I'll be tweeting out the game schedules every single game day. If you're interested in going to games, yeah, we're just kind of all in on the baseball season.
Absolutely there, yeah. Well, definitely want to mention that. So at Austin, at @A_Kemp.
2 underscores.
2 underscores.
Yeah, but it comes
Okay.
up. It comes up.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. And then I am at Paul Meadors, Meadors. Yeah, follow us. We're going to be tweeting out lots of stuff, lots of videos, highlights of kids and player interviews and coaches interviews. So yeah, it's going to be a great season. We're very much looking forward to this. Yeah, Austin, you got anything else to add?
I got nothing. I'm just ready to get going tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Or today if you're watching it on Tuesday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. We really appreciate your support. You guys have been great throughout this endeavor that we're doing here at Clovis Sports Report. So, yeah, come say hi if you see it at games, or tweet at us, or send us a text or email or whatever. Yeah, love to interact with you guys and talk with you guys and see what's going on out there. So, until next time, see you later.